See you sucker soon on a hot summer day. Coffee comes back in a nerve-wracking way. The dishes and laundry take the garbage out. What a day, what a day, what a day. Kids got their quizzes and I've got a date. I can't meet the deadline, I'm already late. The cat needs feeding and the car needs oil. What a day, what a day, what a day. Looking for sunshine without any rain. Didn't the good times come with some pain? You gotta get going, start over again, 'cause life's not waiting for you. Birds start their singing, I hear their sweet sound. My heart keeps beating, the world's spinning round. I hear the doorbell, it started again. What a day, what a day, what a day. Looking for sunshine without any rain. Didn't the good times come with some pain? You gotta get going, start over again, 'cause life's not waiting for you. Birds start their singing, I hear their sweet sound. My heart keeps beating, the world's spinning round. I hear the doorbell, it started again. What a day, what a day, what a wonderful day. What a day, what a day, what a day.
Well, here we are. We're at MiSci. There's the sign right there. The Museum of Innovation and Science. What a great place to visit. Great place for kids, but it's also a great place for adults. And they've done a lot of really interesting things. Just take a look at that nice little bench there that celebrates the butterflies. But they do have the butterfly house in the spring, and you might want to check that out. But right now we're going to be talking about their exhibits, but also their toy exhibit. They have a train exhibit coming up. It's not up right now, but we will be showing you some photos of it. We're going to take a look at the Challenger Learning Center. We're going to take a look at the archives. We're going into the basement and talk to Chris Hunter and find out more about what he's doing down there. The number of photos that they have from the GE that they've collected and how they're stored. You'll see all of that. You're going to see some of their little nooks and crannies where they store all these wonderful little pieces that they have that they bring out for their exhibits. We're going to just take a look around the museum. We want you to know what's here. We're not going to show you everything because we want you to come and visit MiSci. We're going to go inside right now. Okay, here we are. We're in the gift shop right now, and remember I said that there's the toys and train exhibit, but if you really want to find out about a little something about trains, at the gift shop you can actually purchase a little set of trains here. They have, they even have posters and things, but different kinds of little trains, and get the kids excited about trains and train travel. Maybe you'll want to take them on a train trip, who knows? So, but this is we're in the gift shop right now. You'll have fun in here as well. Okay, here we are. We're actually in the exhibit area, and with me I was fortunate enough to snag Dr. Gould here. She is the president of MiSci, and we're going to talk about what's going on here, her future plans. Come on, tell us.
us what's going
Oh,
on.
it's I'm very excited about
know.
what's going on.
Yay.
First of all, I love this exhibit,
I
the
should've
toy
brought
exhibit.
pom-poms.
Yes, I should be carrying them in my pocket. No, but I love this exhibit because even for adults, it's like a walk through nostalgia.
I love
remember, right? I remember Rock'em Sock'em Robots
Yeah, yeah.
and the I Dream of Genies and the Jetsons. So, but what we're doing, so we have a very aggressive exhibit schedule planned, and what we're doing is we're utilizing this half of the museum, and we're going to get rid of all this stuff so it becomes like a stage set, all black and beautiful. And
Get
get
out.
out, yeah, and so that we can put whatever we want in here. So we're going to
Be like a black box theater.
a black box theater, exactly. We're going to change exhibits 3 times a year,
Okay.
so that in the springtime, our exhibits will be geared towards the Common Core standards and the Next Generation Science standards. So we have more school groups participating and coming in, and we will be developing pre and post visit curricula for them, so
They have
it
the-
becomes part of their
Curriculum.
education. Yeah, and then in the summer, we're going to be hosting family-friendly exhibits. So this summer, it's going to be Wolf to Woof, about the evolution of dogs, and of course,
to Woof.
and a wolf went. And then in the fall, we are going to be curating our own exhibits. We're going to be bringing the specimens out and curating these exhibits with the expectation that they will travel nationally.
Yeah, because in the past, or the Exploratorium, we've used some of those from San Francisco.
Correct.
But why can't we be that?
Exactly, and we have a collection here that is unique globally. We house a collection that basically demonstrates that the seed of innovation for the world was right here, right?
Edison, Steinmetz, yeah.
All of those guys. What would we do without refrigerators? I was thinking about that late the other night, thinking, okay, if I made an exhibit in taking kids back about refrigeration, all the components that you would remove out of refrigerators today, just in your house, what would be taken out? Like, that could be a cool exhibit to show the
I like that.
Cool. That's a good. Oh, I like that, Ann. Call it cool. We want to do a cool Schenectady, where we instead of the horses that they decorate the town, refrigerators we give them to artists.
Well, we were going to do, like, I was on the DSIC committee where we were planning the Downtown Schenectady Incorporation.
Yes.
Where we were planning to do light bulbs. And I got prices on them and everything,
I think
but
it's a
we
great
never
idea.
got the funding for it. So.
Okay, well, I think we need to do about Cool
Yeah.
Schenectady. We also have toasters, so we could call it like Toast Schenectady.
Yeah.
We could do a couple of them.
We'll toast them.
We'll toast. I like that idea.
Good.
So anyway, so we're really looking forward to it the first curated exhibit that we're opening under my tenure here is called The Art and Science of Cooking. So if you want to help.
I'm with you.
Okay, you can help
I'm with
because
you. I
I'm
am
reading
with you.
all these cookbooks and my husband
I
is
am
like
a cook.
benefiting from
I'm a
this.
cook from way back.
Then we need to talk about
Yeah, I'd
that.
love to.
Okay,
Love to be
great.
involved with that.
And then the next one is we're celebrating 100 years of broadcasting that started here in Schenectady. So I don't only want to do it on broadcasting, but on communication. And I want to be borrowing specimens from the State Museum on how whales communicate, how different organisms
How bats.
exactly
Yeah.
different organisms communicate, and how
Sonar
we
and radar. I mean,
exactly
things like-
all of that. And so, don't you think that would be interesting?
it'd be
From
great.
technology to anatomy,
Yeah.
and then we're doing an exhibit on how MRIs and PET scans and CT
And you
scans.
actually have an exhibit over there.
Over there, we have a
I'm
couple of
kind
components.
of turned around here.
Yeah, we have a couple of components on there, and I'm already speaking to Walt Robb, who invented
like
them.
Walt. Walt
What a
is a
wonderful
wonderful
He's
guy.
a wonderful guy.
I've heard him speak here a number of times. One of the things they do have lectures here, which is
Yes,
really
we're
nice.
bringing those back.
I love those
we
science lectures.
We had not done them for a little while, but each exhibit now will have 3 lecture series. A lecture series of 3 that go with it, because the Capital District has more PhDs per capita than anywhere else in the
Inventors
country.
and holding patents.
Exactly. So we need to bring them in because science isn't for kids. It's for all of us. I
Right.
mean, this is science right here. My textiles is my cheap
Everything
bling.
is science.
Everything is
Everything is
science.
science, yeah.
So I'm really excited. We're doing that, and then we're going to do an exhibit on measuring, because without being able to measure everything.
Are we doing metric or are we doing the American method?
Metric. No, we'll do both, but it's just measuring anything.
Why can't we get into the metric?
You know,
It's
when
like-
I was in school, we tried.
That's all we
Remember
did,
that?
yeah.
And as a scientist, all
We
that's
all
what
use metric.
we all, but I don't know.
Cubic centimeter.
Because we gotta, you know, I don't know.
We can't change the world, but we're kind of doing a little bit.
But at a time, exactly. I'm not really
so
sure.
you've got some really great ideas. Are you going to get Alton Brown here? He's the
I-
guy that does the science with good eats.
I am completely addicted to Alton Brown.
I love him.
And
I'm
yes,
sorry, Alton. We love you.
we love you, Alton Brown. Yes, we do. I am trying to get him here, and I would like to get the gentleman who does the Test Kitchen on
yeah,
PBS.
I saw that. Yeah,
So
I see that show. But they really do that.
Yes, I've spent a small fortune on their books, and believe you me, I'm not a meatloaf lover or a meatloaf maker, but out of the Food Lab book, have you seen that one?
If I have, I don't remember.
Okay, it's the best meatloaf ever. My husband
Okay.
asked me to marry him again after I made that meatloaf because
Did you love it?
I don't eat meatloaf, so and it had stuff like mushrooms in it. He doesn't even eat mushrooms, but it's
Well, that's
about
where you can-
separating the
that's
particles
where you
of
hide
meat.
all the vegetables. We're going to show you that when we do our exhibit.
That's right. How to hide the vegetables for the kids. Right. It's the same thing with zucchini brownies. How to hide them.
I know.
Yeah. So it's exciting.
Good.
Well, I'm standing right outside of the planetarium. You can see the sign right there. We'll take a look at that a little bit later. But right now we're going to be taking a look at some of their toy exhibits. They have a train exhibit that's coming up that isn't installed yet, but we're going to find out a little bit more about that as well. We're going to take a peek maybe at the Challenger Learning Center too. Lots of great things going on here at the museum. So it's really not a museum. It's a museum of innovation and science. Come on, join me. Okay, here we are. We're in the planetarium. This is an amazing planetarium. It's not huge, but it's huge enough for you all to be here. You can see there's plenty of seats, and plenty of seats for everybody to get a very good view of the sky, which of course is just white right now. We're going to have Tara Burnham talk a little bit about this. She knows a little bit more about it than I do. I do know they have a Goto machine, the Kronos, and there's only a few of those in the United States, and I think they're made in Japan.
They are made
Yeah.
in Japan.
So why don't we have Tara tell us a little bit about it.
So this is our Suitspeaka Planetarium here at MiSci. It's a 60-seat, 30-foot dome planetarium, and as Ann mentioned, we have a Goto Kronos star machine, which is one of about a dozen or so in the world, and many of them are at universities and other places that aren't always available to the public. So we're really excited to have this machine. It can project from any point on the Earth, a view of the night sky at any point in time, I think 1,000 years in the past or 1,000 years in the future. We also, just a few years ago, installed a digital projector so we can show films inside the planetarium as well that discuss various principles and other astronomical things that are happening in space, as well as the live sky presentations using the Goto machine.
And the seats are comfortable.
They are.
The seats are very comfortable. See, because you're going to be looking up at the sky, and so you want to have your head supported, and so your head is supported, plenty of leg room. The kids will love it. They will absolutely love it. I know I do. And they do a kids show. They do different times of the year. They will do different shows. And when I was here, they'll do your birthday and find out what the sky looked like on your birthday, no matter what year it was. So I imagine it'd be within 100 years because I don't think there's too many older people here. But I love this place, and it's really a delight. And they have the shows. How often do they have them, Tara?
We have planetarium shows every day. During the week, we have shows at 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock. We always have a show for a younger audience as well as a more adult targeted show. And the schedule does change periodically throughout the year, just like the sky. So we'll do a live sky show that will talk about what you can see in the current night sky. Some of the older shows were done using this
the older
the
technology.
slideshows, yes, but that was before we got the machine. Now a lot of the shows are digital. That will use the digital projector, but some of the legacy shows are still on here.
Well, this is as close as I'm going to get to space, I think, but we are in mission control here, and you can look at all the monitors here, and I'm sure that Tara will back me up, but I've been here when this place was filled with kids, and what they do with the Challenger is that when they'll split up the group, and half of them will be doing mission control, the other one will be in a space station, and then they flip. So is that,
You got it, that's right. So-
Okay, and you have a briefing before? Tell us a little
We
bit
do.
about that.
So they start off in the briefing room and they'll be briefed on the mission scenario, and each mission will have a specific objective that they have to achieve together as a team. And that's a really big part of the Challenger Learning Center as well. Not only are they doing science
Team
and
building.
calculations, but they're going to have to communicate with their counterpart, whether it's in mission control or in the spacecraft. So once they have their mission objective, they divide into their teams, and half of the team goes to mission control, which is where we are here, and the other half launches into space, and then the teammates have to work together communicating through various means, whether it's through instant messenger, through a headset, or through the comms officer, who's really the connection point between the spacecraft and the engineers here in mission control. But we can show you the spacecraft if you'd like to see that too. So this would be the way that our astronauts would proceed into the space transport vehicle to wherever they're headed for their experiments. It might be Mars, it might be the International Space Station, it might be a colony on a moon somewhere in our solar system. So follow me this way and we'll prepare for liftoff.
How many G's is this going to be? Okay, we're going into it. This has got to be so exciting for kids.
Oh, it's so fun for them.
Yeah, okay.
So normally we would have a screen coming down that would play a video that would, simulate where the children are going on their mission, or adults, depending on who's on the mission. But the video would play, and we would launch into space and then dock with the space station or have a landing on the moon. And then once that's done, of course, the astronauts need to go through the airlock, because if they didn't, we know what would happen in outer space, and we wouldn't want for that to happen to our astronauts. We don't want anybody vaporizing here at the Challenger Center. So the airlock would safely transport the crew from the transport vehicle into
Can we go in
the
there?
space colony. You can.
Okay, we're
yeah.
going to go in there. You're going to take it?
It'll be totally dark.
Actually, let me take it. We're dark. Uh-oh, here we go. We are in the space station where that was fast. Oh, turn around.
Just like that. So this is where the astronaut crew will be conducting their various experiments. We have all of the different stations where the crew members are assigned. So life support, they're monitoring the health of the astronauts and making sure all of the conditions are safe for the astronauts to remain in space. Isolation is where they'll be conducting experiments on various samples they're collecting from either the planet or the comet, or wherever it is that they are trying to colonize or trying to solve the mission. We have a medical station where the medical officer will run various tests on the astronauts to make sure that their health is optimal.
I'm trying to go forward. Wait, I gotta learn. I don't think it's going forward. I'm going the wrong way.
It's really pretty funny, the kids who are so used to video games and the rapid response, they're always so surprised at how slowly the arm moves.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I don't know how to get closer. Is it close? I don't know how. Nope, I'm not close enough, am I?
There you go.
I need to open that up. Wait. Oh, this is funny. Oh my gosh, I am not very good at this, am I? Of course, I guess I should have read directions. No, I don't think I'm going to do too well. I want to get closer to. Oh! Almost now. Oh, sorry. I'm sure that I haven't torn anything apart. Oh, no. I don't know. I think I better stick with television. I don't know how to grab that. There, wait. Oh, almost. No, it tipped over. Oh, whoops. Wrong way. Oh, go back, go back. How do I get back? No. Nope, the wrong way. It's not intuitive. I think we better give up on this. I'm not doing good. You want me to film and you do it?
No, you're okay.
I don't think I've ever done that.
You got that. You just got to come down and grab that loop.
This is Move forward, out. Move left joystick toward you.
Oh, you're reading.
Away from you.
That's what I should have done, is read it. See, it's not that easy. I'm afraid this mission would take a lot longer if I was doing it. Yeah, you just. So the kids are better at this? Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, way better.
It's not intuitive. I mean, it's not what you think is going to happen when you do it. So you have to.
Move forward, out, move left.
I don't know if I get. There's my hand in there. Tara's still working over there? Okay.
Not giving up.
Okay, this is it. Got my mortar and pestle. And they do experiments in here, right?
They do, yeah.
This is an extraction jar. Now, how many people can you accommodate, whether they be adults or children? Do you have like a team of 24 and you split 12 and 12, or is it larger or less, or what is it?
It's optimally about 30 people.
Okay, so that's 15, 15.
Yep, 15 and 15. That way, every role is filled with a team of 2.
Okay.
So they'd have one person, who becomes the astronaut, and the other who's the engineer and mission control. And then about halfway through the mission, there's a critical event where the astronauts,
Ooh, and then everybody has to hustle, right?
Exactly. They return from space and they reconvene in the briefing room and decide how they want to handle the situation, and then the crews switch roles. So anybody who comes on a Challenger experience gets to be an astronaut here in space as well as an engineer at mission control.
Have you done this?
We get to do it as a staff whenever we're launching a new mission. So we work with the educators, so they have a practice mission, and we're lucky to be the ones who get to go on that
And
mission.
who's in charge of the mission here? I mean, do you have a person specifically assigned to all the technology behind it?
We do. Our flight commander, Victoria Burr, oversees every mission. She's also responsible for implementing new curricula as it comes from the Challenger Center nationally. So they work to develop different mission scenarios according to Common Core curricula. So everything that we do here is very much aligned with next generation science standards and Common Core. So anytime a school group comes here, we know that it is, helping the educators to meet their curriculum
Well,
goals.
especially when they're doing like a unit on space or exploration. This is a perfect venue for this. I guess my question is, how many Challenger Learning Centers are there in the United States?
Not too many. We are one of 43, I think, in
the
the United States.
That's not even one a state.
It's not even one a state, and I think there are a couple internationally as well. But we're very fortunate to have one right here in the Capital Region. It's a great resource.
This is amazing. Yeah, and I mean, you got a clean room. I noticed you have a hood somewhere over here. I noticed that you had a hood.
Yeah.
We're working. Well, they work in these.
We actually just did a practice mission, and I was on the probe team, so I was responsible for being in the clean room, and got a little stressful at certain
Did it
points.
get
Had to put all the switches on, and you know what the critical piece is, and what each part is for.
To me, this is the most exciting thing, because I've always loved space and I love the exploration. When you bring in a group of students, or maybe it'll be a corporation watching this right now, and they may want to do some team building with 30 of their employees. What a great way to do this. When they come in, I mean, if you know nothing, absolutely nothing about a space mission, how much briefing does it take you to understand what you may have to do? Because these are technical things that you have to do, so that you don't want the craft to crash, or you don't want to lose your people on the space station.
It's true, and that's really where, and you'll see at every station there is a task card, and this is telling whether it's the astronaut or the engineer and mission control. First of all, it gives them some context on the importance of their job. So this is all based on NASA astronaut training. So this is the same way that astronauts who really go into space would be trained for their roles and their mission. But it really becomes an issue of communication. You know, being able to effectively relate what your job is and what your tasks are with your teammate. That was the most striking thing for me in going through the mission, is how it's not just about your knowledge and what you know about your job, but as much about how you can effectively communicate with your teammate and solve problems as issues arise and kind of overcome those to do your job.
Yeah. I would imagine that you have given a taste to many students who think, I want to do this. This is what I really want to do. Maybe they'll end up in Houston and you know, at NASA there or wherever. I'm sure there's the space station's other, other mission controls, but we always hear about Houston, of course. But it's so important to know the technology that goes behind this. And part of that is STEM, or STEAM, I guess, but it's STEM is really what we're talking about: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Yes.
We really want kids to think in those terms, and if you're a female, a lot of times it's like we haven't been encouraged to do that. I'm a math and science major, loved math and science all my life, but not everybody does. How do you peak that in kids?
Well, we try certainly with our outreach programming and through our exhibit programming to showcase female scientists, and we also have developed programming specifically for girls. We've worked a lot with other community organizations like Girls Inc. and the YWCA to bring groups here to the museum and to hear from our female PhD astronomer and to see female scientists who they can identify with and relate to and can start to envision themselves in careers that are related to STEM.
And of course we haven't really mentioned Valerie Rapson, who is our astrophysicist here, our PhD physicist, and she's also in charge of the Dudley Observatory, which is outside of this building. They have their own little building. It's just a little thing, but it works. It's exactly what they need.
It looks like a shed, but it is a state-of-the-art facility that has a brand new world-class telescope. It just opened this summer, and we are now open on Thursday evenings from 6 to 8:30. The observatory is open for night sky observation with the telescope, and on Sundays in the afternoons from 1 to 2:30, it's available and open for solar observation.
Yeah, see, it's really great. And I'm sure that when they had the eclipse, I know people were just here.
We were overrun. It was the single most attended day in MiSci history.
Yeah, and I remember that I think Matt Suddeth was on the show, and we had talked about that and talked about the glasses and everything that they were going to use. The Dudley Observatory, of course, they do night skies, and they also have, and I should mention that you have a senior program on Mondays. Is it on what Monday of the month?
We changed our hours,
Oh,
so
okay.
we're no longer open on Mondays. So senior science is now the first Wednesday.
The first Wednesday.
Wednesday of every month.
And what
at
is
3
that?
o'clock.
So anybody watching might learn about it.
Sure. Senior Science Day is where our astronomer, Dr. Valerie Rapson, prepares a program about something that's either occurring right now in space or some principle about scientific research in space. And it's a 1-hour lecture on a specific topic, and it's geared toward seniors to make astronomy or something that perhaps they've never studied before accessible. She's really great at translating.
She's a good speaker. Yeah, she's
she
really good.
does a wonderful
Every
job.
time she comes on the show, we always have a little bit of chit chat about things going on in space. And of course, there's always this new exploration or this new planet or this new star that they found.
Yep.
And so we have fun with that. But now that it's on Wednesdays, because I couldn't come on Mondays, now that it's on Wednesdays, I might be able to come.
Wonderful. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, and what time is that
It's
again
at
for anyone?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock on Wednesday after, but it's not every Wednesday. It's what
The first Wednesday of the
first
month.
Wednesday of the month. So see, I mean, this is great that you can learn, no matter what your age, you can learn something. But I think next we're going to go to the archives. Is that
Okay,
right?
we'll go see Chris
and
in
this
the
is like in the
archives.
basement. We worked with Chris with the glass slide exhibit that was in China, and we actually had, I think there was the exhibit here, wasn't there? At the
Yes.
glass slides, yeah.
Yep,
And
back in
these are those
2006.
glass slides. That's with the photos. They put them on glass. It was amazing. And you have a beautiful collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Go ahead. I'm
in our
sorry.
archives, we have about 2 million photographs. So the collection Anne was mentioning was a glass slide collection from a world traveler named Harry Ostrander,
Ostrander, yeah.
who kind of traveled the world and put together these travelogues that he would give as public programs, and they just kind of document the late 19th, early 20th century, kind of the development all over the world.
And he went all over the world
Yeah.
because he went to the Orient, or I guess the Orient, the Asia,
Yeah.
so he did that. Yeah.
Yeah, our core collections relate to General Electric and the development of the electrical industry and innovation and invention and advertising.
Now you have all of these, and I know that at one time you talked about trying to digitalize all of this. Are you still in that process, or have you? I mean, because you have so many things going on.
Yeah, but it's a large collection, so it's an ongoing process.
Yeah.
We've in the New York Heritage Online Image Database, we have about 10,000 images now, and up on YouTube we have 400 digitized motion picture films. We have a volunteer who
Are these the Edison films, or I mean the ones from Edison era? Or?
they're actually mostly GE advertising movies, but they go back to 1914, 1915 with the Home Electric, kind of introducing.
Yeah, there are new kitchens.
Yeah, introducing electric appliances to the public, thing the Back to the Farm and King of the Rails, so introducing electric locomotion, and then back to the Farm talks about rural electrification.
Yeah, those milking machines, right?
Yeah, and then that carries up through the late 70s, early 80s, and some of the research projects at the research center. Looking at the walking truck, the 11-foot tall walking robot, and the electric car project. The electric car we have on
We
display.
saw it in 1978. It
Yep.
was, yeah.
Yeah, but we got our commercial with Indy driver Sam Posey, who's racing the car against Indy cars.
Amazing. Okay, so this is where you keep all your photographs, is that it, or your documents?
Yeah, the blue and yellow boxes down here are all GE photo prints. So with the photo prints, they originally came in these leather-bound scrapbooks, and we've rehoused the vast majority of them and put special acid-free paper in between each photo, and then put them in special acid-free boxes, and using materials that will help preserve the photos for generations to come. Should mention we're always looking for volunteers to help us digitize and catalog, because we've got a lot of stuff to do.
You have volunteers working right now. What are they doing?
Okay, this is yep, this is Matthew, and Matthew works with us 2 days a week, and on Tuesday he does scanning. He's currently scanning WGY photos, and then does some cataloging, and on Wednesdays the Lampkin collection that I mentioned earlier, he's photographing and cataloging the items. So we take a picture of each one, we measure them, and then
Give them a number
give them
A description.
a number. Yep.
and a description.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing. I bet you have a good time with it.
Yeah, that's interesting. You see a lot of interesting items and stuff like that.
Yeah. I love this stuff. I love it. I could eat it up.
Yep, and Julia Blackwelder has been organizing and researching the E.W. Rice papers.
What is that?
Oh,
Are you not talking about Tarzan?
No.
Wasn't he Rice? Wasn't he?
That was Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Oh, Rice Burroughs. Okay.
This is Edwin Wilbur Rice Jr.,
Okay.
who was a pioneer in the electrical industry. He worked with the Philadelphia and Lynn, Massachusetts-based inventor Elihu Thompson, but he was one of the he was the technical director of GE in its infancy, and
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
was involved in starting the GE Research Laboratory, and as we kind of learn more about him, he was a major figure in developing operations management and organizing factories.
So you have his papers?
Yes, yeah,
His collection from work or personal papers or what?
both. Both
Okay,
actually.
okay.
Both are. So the papers range from, you know, GE administrative issues to his wife kind of dealing with her tuberculosis in the 1890s.
Oh my gosh, how exciting to read somebody's diary. Woo.
Okay, so
And
my
in 1 month,
favorite
over
item in the collection is probably the Edison tinfoil because
it's
of its
amazing.
rarity and kind of the personal experience actually in being able to digitize it and recover the sound off of it.
And we ended up, the
So
family
so
donated
this was a
the original
recording
slides.
that was made
First
in
color photographs of China.
St. Louis in June
to Beijing, to the
1878.
National Museum.
What was the date of the
And
photograph?
we were able to actually
That's, oh gosh.
take this
that's
out
great.
to
Wow,
the
that's
Lawrence
interesting.
Berkeley Laboratory in,
Well, it wasn't
in
late because that was
Berkeley,
Kodachrome had just
Well,
come out.
California,
No.
and
Yeah,
and they had a special
it did.
scanning
I know,
machine.
'cause we
Now,
researched it, yeah.
now we have our scanners
And,
here that
his
scan
father
photographs at
was a,
600
surgeon
DPI and give
in
us,
the
you know,
Army.
about 20 megabyte
And his
files.
wife
This one
sent
here,
him
they
film.
scanned it for about 2 days
yeah.
straight and came
then
up with
he took
about a
photos,
10
but the interesting
gigabyte
is he
file.
took photos
So-
of China.
So a
And the
special
people of
3D
China.
scanner,
That's why the
and
photographs
then they have
are
the
so
software that
precious
was
to
able
China.
to read the sound off
Because
of it.
it wasn't the military or
Which,
the armies or
which was
anything.
music playing,
These were
and then
regular
a
people. How
couple
were
of
they
the top
living during
tunes
war?
from
They'd
the
just been attacked by
1870s. Mary Had a
If it
Little
wasn't
Lamb
for
and
the
Old
flying
Mother
tigers
Hubbard.
that protected Kunming.
Okay.
Got it? Okay, now what do I do? Okay. Whoop.
This is a message from the emergency broadcast system.
Clint Eastwood. Let's do, do you need to have your shoes off, Emily? Nine pounds of hydrogen. Kind of. Oh, and a little bit more?
They're all over the place.
Okay. How about you? There it is. Okay, here we are outside. This is the Dudley Observatory. It doesn't look like a whole lot, but inside it's amazing. Got great, a world-class telescope. You'll be able to see the planets. You'll be able to see a lot. Come on down, and they have that night sky that you can come with your family and enjoy it. Check out their website, Dudley Observatory. Just finished recently. As I said, it doesn't look like much from the outside, but inside it's amazing. Come on down. We're at MiSci. We're here at MiSci, which is the Museum of Innovation and Science here in Schenectady, and we're so happy that we're being allowed to come into the Challenger Learning Center and learn a little bit more about space and how it relates to us and the kids and the adults in our neighborhood. With me I have Mac Sutton, he's the president of MiSci, and tell us what we're going to see today, Mac.
Well, you just come in the entrance and everybody starts off in the briefing room. I'm going to introduce Carolyn here too.
Hi, Carolyn.
Carolyn Niehaus is going to help us.
Good. Come on
She's
over.
one of our mission specialists. And we're just going to go into the briefing room. Everybody starts off with a briefing, just like
Okay,
NASA.
great.
When the kids first come in, we've already trained their teachers. They may have done some activities at school. They had some roles assigned. And we, just like we would at NASA, every astronaut that goes on a mission gets a briefing. We sit them down and do a briefing. We have a little presentation we do on the screen.
And your colleague here, would you introduce her and tell us how she is involved?
Introduce yourself.
So I'm Carolyn Niehaus. I'm one of the flight directors who's been trained to lead the missions that the students will be going through here at the Challenger Learning Center. So the briefing room, when they come in, they'll kind of sit down at their assigned stations. Each student comes in with a job, and so it's their responsibility during their time at the Challenger Learning Center to complete their mission, to complete their job so that they're working towards completing the mission. So in here we kind of get them oriented, get them excited, let them know what they're going to be doing and working on today as they're going through the mission, the rendezvous with the comet here at the Challenger.
So what I'm understanding, because I'm new to this obviously, what I'm understanding is that they are coming in as though they are part of the flight team, whether they are ground control or whether they're on the mission itself. And then they'll take a part of that and have a job, and then they will follow through on it.
And then they switch, so everybody gets to go into space and everybody gets to be in mission control.
Do the kids come back? I mean, we always like to know
Yes.
that.
Some of them don't want to come back, but they come back.
Sure. And then this is and I see you've got a great big screen over there. So what is the purpose of that screen? Is that to?
Well, we have a little presentation. We don't have the computer plugged in right now.
That's okay.
We have a little presentation that sort of gives them an orientation and gets them started on their task. And as Carolyn said, they come in knowing what they're divided up into groups. And then when we finish up the briefing, we go into mission control.
Now, what I'd like to know is how do the kids sign up for this? I mean, is this like, do they sign up or do they walk in and say, I'd like to be part of it?
They sign up through their schools. Actually, their teachers and their principals sign them up. And we've got 29 missions scheduled. Every sixth grader in Schenectady schools is coming through in May.
Oh, how exciting that
It
is.
is. And we've had a homeschool group already, and we've had Tech Valley High School kids do it. And we will be doing overnights, like you could sign up as a Girl Scout group for Camp In. Or we do summer camp, and so you can come to space camp for a week and be on a mission.
Now, are we going to go into the control room?
Yes, we're going to go into
Ooh,
mission
how
control.
exciting. I can't wait.
So you'll see that mission control is divided up into the various tasks. And Carol can probably tell you about the task. I know a little bit, but you can see there's data, communications, ISO.
And everything is labeled, I see.
Yeah, ISO or isolation, navigation, the probe, the remote, the
What is
medical
LS?
team, life support.
Oh,
Very important
we
one.
need life support.
So each team monitors the life support, and they have a set of tasks that they give people, and they will communicate with people in the space station. You can see the space station on the screen, and so most of the communication comes through data, doesn't it? You want to take over?
Sure. So kind of the bigger picture is the students are being asked to rendezvous with a comet. They are meeting up with a comet to collect data, to kind of check in.
A scientific mission.
Yes. Yep. So
Okay.
they're meeting up with Comet Enki, and so each of these teams has a specific job to complete. So navigation is determining where the comet is, where we're going to launch our probe. The probe team is building the motherboard of the probe. That's actually going to be sent up to the comet. So our life support team, our medical team, and our isolation teams are all kind of making sure that the astronauts are healthy, the spacecraft is functioning well, that everything on board is going as planned. And then our communications and our data teams are how our mission control team is communicating with our spacecraft team. So all communication passes through data and comm to make sure that they're communicating appropriately and that messages are getting passed back and forth as needed and on the right.
Now this
time
sounds
frame.
very complex to me, so I'm having to assume that the kids, now Mac, maybe you can help me, I guess I shouldn't have my back to you. How are they prepared for this? Because, I mean, if you told me I was going to sit here and do this, I'd say, whoa, you know, it's like getting behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler, and I've never driven one.
Well, first of all, we train the teachers before they come.
Okay.
And the teachers do some prep work so that, like,
They understand
may
what
pick
data
particular kids to be on specific teams. Then you'll notice that every station, just like NASA, has a little book of tasks. It tells them out, you know, that like if you see on Apollo 13 where they're going through the checklist, every station has their checklist, including the data log where they take down the information. So it's partially here, and then we have a flight director who's here to help. Although,
And you're one of the flight directors.
Although
Yes.
what we're trying to encourage is for the kids to work it out themselves as a team.
Solve the problem.
Yeah.
And students really excel in these types of environments where they need to be hands-on and kind of learning quickly. You know, they're given the tools and the background information that they need to work through the problems. But you know, with the students that we've had coming through so far, they're jumping right in and don't have any kind of I don't know what to do.
Do they get to
very,
talk to each other behind here, or do they just specifically follow?
So they're working with their teammates. So.
Okay.
You know, the life support team will work together, and they're working with both the students who are in here sitting next to them, as well as their teammates in
Because
mission
they can
control.
see, for instance,
So-
I'll give you an example of the probe team. They can see the people putting the probe together, and they have the instructions, and the people in the spacecraft have the parts. So they have to work together to get it all working, and some of the parts may malfunction, so they may have to replace a part.
And of course, they can only use what they have on board,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
So they use a paper clip and a bobby pin and a few other things, right? In the middle of a toilet roll dispenser.
So and most of the stuff goes through the data person, but on occasion, if there's an emergency, it goes directly through the communications person, right?
Yeah, well, data and comm kind of work together to make sure that all the information is flowing.
And how long does the space, I guess,
It's about 2.5 hours,
Okay.
and that allows both a
They can
student
switch.
to switch. We actually offer a 3-hour experience because we start off in the planetarium to sort of show them where they're going.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So it all fits together nicely.
Do you find that the kids that go through this are like, okay, now I really want to be an astronaut, or I really want to go to Houston and be on mission control? Do they get that excitement when they're done with this, or are they pretty much saying, whoa?
I think they're excited about it. I don't know that we're going to make them all into astronauts or engineers, but I think they go away feeling empowered and motivated, and it's certainly makes science more accessible and gives them an understanding more of what a career in science might be. I don't think that they could imagine what it'd be like to be an engineer in mission control until they've done it.
Okay, now what we've seen now is this is mission control. This is where, you know, at the end of a mission, everybody jumps up and goes, yay, we made it.
Yeah.
Right. What happens on the other end?
Well, we'll take you.
Okay, so right now we're entering the space transport vehicle. This is how the students arrive at the spacecraft. So they come in and they have a seat, and then they put on their vests that indicate that they're one of the astronauts that they're going to be working in the spacecraft here. And then they watch the launch sequence.
Will we be able to see some of this?
Yeah, sure,
okay, that would be great. I'd love to see that.
Some of that. Yeah.
Well,
So
let me come
they-
inside, and we can't
Yep.
take off until you shut the door.
Oh,
That's right.
all right, because we want to fall out, do we?
Right.
Yep.
So, and they sit down, they wear these smocks so that they identify as being part of the mission.
So this is like what it would look like at the Kennedy Space Center or in Houston. Is that correct?
Well, this is our
So they just put in a new button that I'm having a little bit of trouble with here.
shuttle.
Okay, are we go?
Yep, here we go.
Okay. Okay, take it away, Greg and Carolyn. Now you'll walk us through this a little bit.
Yep, so here we're on the runway and we're preparing for preparing for takeoff here, so a little bit in the future in our space transport vehicle. And shortly we're going to start to hear the communications between the mission control specialist and the pilot on our space transporter.
Now, do each of the students that are sitting here, do they each have a different task?
Yep, so just like in mission control, there are counterpart students, so in the spacecraft.
Time to initiate APU pre-start procedure. Over.
Roger that. The pre-start prep is now complete. Over.
You are on internal power. Over.
Roger.
Other two vents closed. Over.
And the APU pre-start is completed. Over.
H2 tank pressurization check. Okay. Over.
Roger, Control. We're standing by for APU start. On my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark. The start is complete.
APU is up and running. 5, 4, we have main engine start. 2, 1, liftoff. You're underway. Have a great mission. You cleared the runway. Tracking altitude 5,000 feet. Downrange 15 miles. Trajectory looks good. Throttle back to 60%. Entering max Q. Through max Q. Throttle up to 100%.
We copy. The space transport vehicle is leaving the Earth's atmosphere. Wow, what a ride.
Stand by for MECO.
Roger. We're standing by. 3, 2, 1. Main engine cut off. We have arrived in space. Over.
ISS is tracking and will guide you. Welcome to space.
So we're now in space, and we can see the International Space Station up here. This is what we're going to be docking with. And both our space transport vehicle as well as the International Space Station are moving very quickly, so that we can imagine this is something that requires a lot of precision work and planning. And so when we get in closer and you can see the different the solar arrays that they have, which is part of what the students work can relate to, is their teams that are
And this is a manned space station, is that correct?
I'm sorry.
This is manned with Russians and Americans.
This is the International Space Station.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And so all of the different international wings are on here. I think it's 16 different countries that were involved in the International Space Station. So at this point, the students
Stand by for Ohm's maneuver for ISS intercept and transfer.
STV, this is ISS. Do you copy? Over.
Hello, ISS. This is STV. We copy, and we have you in sight.
STV, this is ISS. We have you in sight. Approach heading 90.5. Continue to docking, connect 3. Good to see you.
so they flip their
ISS, we are happy to be here. We're tracking 500 meters. Range now 200 meters.
Looking good, STV.
We're in close approach.
Switching to bulkhead camera.
10 meters. Three. 2, 1. Soft dock. Capture. We have a hard dock.
Well, they got into that easier than a lot of people get in their garage.
Yeah.
them a feel of what it's like to get to the space station.
Yes, so what it's like, it kind of gets them excited about, you know, that we're going into this other space, and we have these other sort of protocols, and our mission there is very important. Just like it is in mission control, but this new environment kind of, you know, tunes them in a different way. And then here we've got our airlock.
Whoa!
So we'll go ahead and, you know, airlock into the spacecraft there. Because
so they actually will now go into
you go right through the airlock. Yep.
Okay, well let's do it.
Yeah. Just leave that open. And so when we're going through the airlock, you don't want to hold on to the outside here. You'll keep your hands either in front of you or in your pockets.
Okay. Can we go in there?
You'll go right on it.
Okay, let's do it. I think you can come too, Grant.
Yep, and you just don't want to lean against the side there. So just keep your hands in front of you or in your pockets. And we'll swing around here and arrive in space.
Wow!
So welcome to space. This is our spacecraft.
Oh my gosh.
So this is where the students will be doing a lot of the hands-on work after they're receiving data and research from their counterparts in mission control. So just like in mission control, we have each of the teams has a different station. You can see the labels on top, so isolation, remote, life support.
This is so impressive.
Yeah. So this is the clean room where our probe team will work. So in the clean room, they treat it like a clean room environment, so they wear lab coats as they go in, and the probe team is assembling.
And the airflow is up and out.
That's it, yeah. And so but so in here is our probe, and these are the pieces. Oh, that's okay. Yeah. These are the pieces that the probe team needs to put on in order. So they're communicating via headset with their counterparts in mission control, and making sure that each of the parts goes in properly and is working like Max said. And so this is, you know, following instructions, but also troubleshooting and making sure that.
But in the real world, they would not just be wearing a lab coat. They'd
right.
Be,
yeah.
they'd be
and like the full body
cover their
suits
feet and their head and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is just to kind of simulate a clean room environment.
No, I just wanted to say that the clean room you'd be a lot more covered.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, no, but
And what is this over here? This says Probe 1. What is a Probe 1?
So this is the probe team station. So each station has a label of telling what team is working there. So this is the probe team. And the probe team has this computer monitor that they're using to do research or send messages to their counterparts in mission control. So we can see, you know, the program for the probe team. They're seeing, you know, the different parts of the probe, understanding how to connect everything,
Are they
which
taking
parts
like
go where.
Are they taking air samples? Are they taking soil samples? What are they probing for?
So the probe team is assembling the probe that's going to be launched to the comet.
Okay, I got
So the difference, the other stations will see kind of
and
some
do
of
the
hands-on
analysis. Okay,
research
so this
that
is just actually sending out the probe.
Yep, this is assembling
Got it.
and
Got it.
setting out the
Got it.
probe.
So you don't want to introduce anything on. Okay, and what is this area over here? Because this is right outside of the clean room, and obviously this is where they're going to do some analysis?
Yep, so this is the life support team, so they are responsible for taking measurements of the conditions in the spacecraft and making sure that all of their systems that are keeping the astronauts alive are functioning well. So they're measuring humidity, pressure, temperature.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed this tour of MiSci, the Museum of Innovation and Science. We had a great tour, learned about the Shadow Room, we've learned about the hurricane, we've learned about the Challenger Learning Center, about the Godot at the planetarium. So much to see, and all the toys. And right now, as you're watching this, the train exhibit is up, so you'll be able to see the train exhibit as well. So next week we'll be going to the Saratoga Auto Museum, and you'll be seeing those great vintage cars and lots of good stuff. So things you're going to want to bring your kids to. Lots of things to do in our area, and I hope that you take advantage of it. I'm Ann Perillo for Schenectady Today, in and around the Capital Region. So happy that you joined me today, and we're doing all this to give you a gift for the holidays.